topic ngayon will be Electronics 9. This includes energy conversion, and I am Engineer Randy Aliado from Amorph Cebu. Okay, ito yung mga subtopics natin. So we'll be discussing first power supply, including the transformers, rectifiers, filters, regulators. Then we'll be talking about generators and motors, then cells and batteries. Okay, let's begin with the power supply. So ito yung pinaka basic na block diagram ng isang power supply. Yan. So power supply converts AC to DC for use with certain electrical and electronic devices. So yung mga resistive load natin sa bahay, like mga appliances such as TV, computers, etc., they use DC, but yung utility supply natin is alternating current. So we need a power supply to do its job to convert the AC into DC. So that's the job of the power supply. So these are the block diagram, or this is the block diagram and the components of your power supply. So the first is an alternating current dito. And this supply is mostly malaki, galing from the utility supply natin, and will be converting it to a smaller value of voltage, so by the transformer. So yung mostly trabaho ng transformer sa power supply is to step down, but a transformer can also do step up, no? So but mostly it is stepping down. So yun na yung output niya, AC pa rin, no? So yung goal natin is gagawa tayo ng DC. So pagkatapos ng transformer, i-feed natin sa rectifier, and what the rectifier will do is to remove the negative components niya, no? And convert the alternating current into a DC that still has AC components known to be the pulsating DC. So we don't want these ripples here na lalabas sa ating pinaka-output. So kaya nga what we can do is doon sa rectified output natin na ganyan, pwede nating i-filter. So yun yung trabaho ni filter. So to smoothen this ripple, but still meron pa rin yung ripple. So the last part is the regulator, which will give us the pinaka-stable DC output that we desire. And the regulator also will maintain the output regardless of may pagbabago sa ating line voltage o di kaya sa ating load current. So yun yung pinaka-basic block diagram ng power supply. So we'll begin with the transformer. No? So unahin natin yung transformer. So transformer obviously can transform. No? So yun yung capability ni transformer. It is capable of transforming voltage, current, or di kaya impedance. So the purpose of a transformer is to transfer power from the primary to secondary, and it will do its job very well. No? So ideally speaking, there will be no loss of power from primary to secondary, kaya nga transformers are considered to be very efficient na mga devices. So kaya nga a Class A amplifier with 25% efficiency can be brought up to 50% efficiency only if you will be using transformer coupling. So sabi dito, losses in transformers are generally low. That's why its efficiency is very high. No? So yun talaga yung pinaka-trademark ng transformer, yung kanyang efficiency, which is malaki talaga. No? And we have types. We have step down, we have step up. But we also have the 1:1 transformer, also known as the isolation transformer. So but for power supplies, mostly yung ginagamit natin is step down. Okay, so let's talk about the transformer. No? So this is the illustration of your transformer. So we have the primary winding, we have the secondary winding, in which you will feed here the input voltage. Ayan. So, this would be your primary voltage, and the primary turns, primary current. Then on the other side, we have the secondary winding, the secondary voltage, secondary current, and secondary turns. So if you will convert that into a schematic, it should look like this. No? These two bars here represents the iron core. No? So in a transformer, that there is always the coils, which is the primary or the secondary, and there will always be the core, in which saan mo iwa-wind yung windings mo, no? Or coils mo. So that's the pinaka-structure ng isang transformer. So the job of the core is to concentrate the flux para hindi lalayo yung mga flux natin. So andun mas nadadaan. So that serves as a highway for the flux, no? Yung ating tinatawag na core. Okay, so let's talk about the ratio, no, na makikita sa transformers, no? Transformer ratio. So the ratio of the voltage ng primary and voltage ng secondary is what we term as the voltage ratio, but hindi ito yung pinaka-significant na ratio sa isang transformer, no? What really is pinaka-significant sa isang transformer, in which doon nababase lahat ng transformation natin, is yung ratio ng number of turns sa primary and number of turns sa secondary. So yun yung tinatawag natin na transformation ratio or the turns ratio. So ito yung pinaka-importante sa transformer, no? Yung turns ratio natin, and everything can be derived galing lang sa turns ratio. So tuturuan natin kayo na mag-derive ng mga voltage, current, and impedance transformation sa pamamagitan ng paggamit ng turns ratio. Okay, so let's begin. So andito na, voltage, current, and impedance transformation. So let's begin with the voltage transformation. Now, from our basic electricity topic and alternating current topic, we know, no, na the coil can induce its own EMF as long as it cuts the flux. No? So that is Faraday's law. And based also with that law, we know that the induced EMF is equal to the number of turns times the d flux over dt, or the change in flux over the change in time. And the negative here tells us that the induced EMF is opposite sa EMF na pinuputol mo, sa flux na pinutol mo, no? That is by Lenz's law. So with this idea lang, meron na tayo makikitang information dito sa ating transformer, na if the induced EMF is nakadepende sa number of turns, like directly proportional, like if I will increase the number of turns, this induced EMF will also increase its value, then alam ko na if this primary only has one turn and this secondary only has one turn, then whatever is the input ko sa primary voltage, that would be the same voltage na ma-induce ko doon sa secondary. Kasi nga pareho lang sila ng number of turns and pareho lang sila ng voltage. But if this primary has one turn but the secondary has two turns, then the secondary now could induce more voltage than the primary, because nga yung isang turn mo dito kinat ng dalawang conductors dito. Kumbaga times 2 yung conductors dito kasi 2 turns na siya. So that would induce more EMF compared sa primary. So dito pa lang sa idea na to, that the voltage induced is directly proportional to the number of turns, we know now na if the number of turns sa secondary is mas madami kaysa number of turns sa primary, then you could increase the output voltage of the secondary compared to the primary. And if the number of turns sa secondary is mas konti, mas maliit kaysa number of turns sa primary, then mas maliit yung ma-induce ni secondary kumpara sa primary. That could be kung pinababa mo yung output voltage sa secondary compared sa primary. So with that idea, we can create now the ratio na voltage sa primary over voltage sa secondary is equal lang sa number of turns sa primary over number of turns sa secondary. So it means na directly proportional tayo. So ibig sabihin nito, the voltage of the secondary halimbawa is equal to the voltage of the primary. Ayan. Lagay natin sa taas, tapos multiply natin yung NS and VP, tapos divide natin ng NP. So this tells us na if lalaki yung or dadami yung number of turns ng secondary, lalaki din yung voltage ng secondary, and so on. If diliit yung number of turns ng secondary, then liliit din yung voltage across the secondary. So that is napaka concrete na relationship between the voltage and the number of turns. So kaya dito tayo magsisimula talaga sa equation na to. And from here, we can now determine whether step up or step down yung isang transformer. So we know now that if the number of turns ng secondary is mas malaki or mas marami kumpara sa number of turns ni primary, then that would be mas malaki output ni secondary kumpara kay primary. So we call it step up. On the other side, if halimbawa mas maliit yung kay secondary turns kumpara kay primary turns, then mas konti yung ma-develop na voltage kay secondary, and that would be step down. So step down transformer yun. So now alam na natin yung step up, alam natin yung step down, and alam na rin natin yung ratio ng voltage transformation. So now let's move on to the current transformation. Now to derive the current transformation, we'll begin with the relationship ng power ni primary is always equal sa power ni secondary. Ito, no? And we can express the power in terms of IV. So I could say na primary power is primary voltage times primary current, and the secondary power is the secondary voltage times the secondary current. Then I could create a ratio here of VP over VS, just like this one, VP over VS, and VP over VS is equal to IS over IP. So ito na yung ratio na nabuo ko coming from this power ni primary equal to power ni secondary. Now, if the primary voltage over the secondary voltage is equal to the secondary current over the primary current, then I could also equate here na the VP over VS is NP over NS. So I could write NP over NS, and that gives me the current transformation na nakadepende rin sa number of turns ni primary and secondary. But if you have noticed, this is inverse. No? So inverse yung relationship natin. Kumbaga si IP, ayan, is equal to IS NS over NP. So if lalaki yung o dadami yung number of turns sa primary, liliit yung current sa primary. So that basically is the relationship. So meron na tayong voltage transformation, meron na tayong current transformation. So what we lack now is the impedance transformation. So we can also derive the impedance transformation based sa ating voltage ratio equal to the turns ratio, because we can really convert, no? we can convert this VP into IR, di ba? So we know that Ohm's law of V is equal to IR. So we could say I primary is equal I primary times Z primary, or the resistance mo, no? The impedance primary is equal to the IS ZS. But we also know that this IP really is IS times NS over NP. So we could replace this IP with IS NS over NP. So by replacing it, it would look like this. So NP over NS, ito, NP over NS, ito lang yung pinalitan natin, is equal to IP, which is now replaced by this equation, NS NP over NP times IS, ZP, IS, ZS. So we could cancel the IS, then that leaves us with NS NP, ZP over ZS, or we could multiply this here, transpose to the other side, this one, so giving us the NP squared over NS squared is equal to ZP over ZS. So ito na yung impedance transformation natin. So NP squared NS over NS squared equal to ZP over ZS. So we have now recovered the voltage transformation, current transformation, and impedance transformation. Para sa akin, ito lang yung pinaka-importante sa lahat para masimulan mo yung voltage transformation. So if hindi mo makalimutan na the induced EMF is nakadepende sa number of turns, then everything will just follow. No? If you have more turns, then you have more induced EMF, then that would lead you to a step up na transformer. And from there, it would work down to solve for the current transformation or the impedance transformation. So that is one way to help us na hindi makalimutan yung mga formula ng transformations na ito. Okay, so now let's move on to rectifiers. Rectifiers basically removes the negative alternation or one part of the alternation ng isang cycle. So the process of obtaining unidirectional. So hindi nagre-reverse, ibig sabihin isang alternation lang. Unidirectional currents and voltages from alternating currents and voltages. So, ibig sabihin, if I have an AC supply na ganito, yung rectifier will remove all of this. So tatanggalin na yung nasa ilalim. So what is left na lang is yung nasa taas. Ito na lang yung matitira. So that is what we call as rectification. But we have two types of rectifiers. We have the half wave rectifier and we have the full wave rectifier. And yung sa rectifier na full wave, may dalawang uri din, no? Which is the center top at the same time the bridge. So we will be discussing all of this. And lahat ng parameters dito i-discuss talaga natin. Okay, so we'll begin with the half wave rectifier. Now, the voltage from here to here will be assigned as V peak. V peak ng secondary. So this is the secondary voltage. We'll just assign it as the peak, because we'll be using the peak. So if the secondary output is an AC pa rin, ito yung i-assume natin na secondary output. So as the secondary output alternation is nakikita dito, naging visible na siya. So what happens is that this would become positive and this would become negative forward biasing your diode, because anode is to the positive, cathode is to the negative, and current is to flow. So as current begins to flow on your RL, Vout will be developed at your RL. So in short, meron yung output dito during the positive alternation. Now, when the negative alternation comes in, magre-reverse yung ating sign. So reversing the sign, this becomes positive and this becomes negative now. And that tells us na reverse bias yung diode or open yung diode mo. So if open yung diode mo, there will be no current across RL means the voltage out will be 0. So it will be 0 here. So on the next positive alternation, this will again reverse its polarity. Yung positive na naman dito, negative sa ilalim. And that again forward biases your diode, creating a current, dropping the Vout. So ito naman yung Vout mo. Ayan. Then pag negative na naman yan, wala ka na namang output. So pinakaunang mapapansin natin dito is that yung pulse na to in one cycle is meron ding isang ganito sa isang cycle. So in short, yung ripple frequency natin is kahalintulad lang sa signal frequency natin. So yun yung pinakaunang makikita mo sa waveform. No? So if this is halimbawa 50 Hz frequency, then this would also be 50 Hz frequency. So the ripple frequency, yung ripple frequency na to, yung pulsating DC frequency mo kumbaga, is just the same as the signal frequency mo ng AC. So that is pinakauna mong makikita. So now let's move on to how to solve for the Vout. No? Paano natin i-solve yung Vout? So basically, makikita mo naman, pwede mo namang i-loop. No? Galing ka sa VP minus the drop of your diode, which is 0.7 minus Vout is equal to 0. So solving for Vout, that would be VP minus 0.7. So ito na yung formula natin. So we don't need to memorize that. No? We can simply just look at the circuit, then KVL. No? So kaya nga KVL is napaka-importante talaga sa electronics. No? So pangalawang parameter na isosolve natin is yung average. No? This is 0.318 of VPIC. So wag natin i-confuse ito sa 0.636 because yung 0.636 para sa AC yun or sa full wave rectifier. But you can also get the average na to based sa waveform na nakikita mo dito. No? So yung gusto mong gawin is i-distribute yung isang maliit na alternation na ito sa buong 2π range na ito. So kumbaga if I can get this area, then i-divide ko sa range na 2π, what comes out is the average, yung level na to. No? Yun yung average value. So this lower level is the average value, this higher level is the RMS value, and the top level is the peak value. So in order for me to flatten this out into this level known as the average, pwede kong kunin yung area na to, pagkatapos yan i-divide ko sa 2π. So that gives me the average. So to get the area, we can use integral calculus. So average value is the instantaneous values of our magnitudes, VP sine of x dx. Tapos the area natin is from 0 to π lang. So yun lang yung pulse natin, yung sine wave natin. So from 0 to π, pagkatapos ko masolve yung area niya, i-divide ko lang sa 2π. So that should give me 0.318 of VP. So that's the integral form niya. Now for the VRMS naman, mostly nako-confuse yung karamihan nito because nadadala nila yung 0.707 which is wrong. No? That is only for the full wave or the AC RMS. But for the half wave, it is always 0.5. So you can also solve that. The RMS value of the half wave rectified output is equal to the individual squared, which is the VP instantaneous kumbaga, sine of x dx, but we just need to square this. And if you look at the area, it still is from 0 to π, but we need to divide it with the whole 2π to get the mean or the average. Then last na process ng root mean square is to get the square root. So using your calculator to integrate this, it will give you 0.5 of the constant VPIC. So that would be the RMS value. No? For the PIV naman, so I will give you the secreto dito sa PIV, no? Minimum PIV. So the minimum PIV of a half wave rectifier, or kahit anong rectifier, no? You can apply this to all the rectifiers na i-discuss natin. The minimum PIV is equal to the reverse bias diode lang. So pili ka lang ng isang diode sa rectifier mo, tapos reverse bias mo yun na yung kung yung voltage doon on the reverse bias diode, yun na yung PIV mo. So for example, if in this figure, i-reverse bias natin yung diode kasi wala naman tayong choice, isa lang yung diode natin. So if we will reverse bias this diode, it will act as open. So mag-open yung diode niyan. Whatever is the PIV or whatever is the voltage across this diode should be your PIV na. And wala namang ibang source dito kundi yung VP. So we now know that the minimum PIV of a half-wave rectifier is basically the secondary voltage or the VP. So kaya nga yung value dito is PIV is equal to VP. You don't memorize it, no? Just know kung paano and saan hanapin yung PIV. Again, just reverse bias a diode, then whatever voltage is across that reverse bias diode in your rectifier, that will be your PIV. But we will learn how to get this on all of these rectifiers na i-discuss natin. Okay, so let's continue with a full wave bridge. So may dalawang full wave, no? Full wave na center tap at saka full wave na bridge. So we'll begin with a full wave bridge. So this is now your voltage secondary, and we'll be getting the peak. We will be using the peak. And first thing first, we'll plot it. So kung plus yung alternation natin sa secondary, so this will be plus, this will be minus, and we'll trace kung saan siya dadaan. So dito sa unang, let's say D1, D2, D3, D4. So pagdating niya sa node na to, hindi siya pupunta sa D1 kasi reverse bias yung D1. So it will obviously go to the D2, then go to the load, then go to D3, then go to the source back. Okay, now look at this direction of current. You try to take note of direction of current. Okay, so merong dumaan na kuryente sa RL, so ibig sabihin meron tayong output dito. So we have an output voltage that goes like that. Okay, so now let's move on to the negative alternation, and let's try to plot what will happen in the negative alternation. So pag negative na, magre-reverse na yung potential natin. This becomes negative, this becomes positive. So the direction of flow natin is hindi na dadaan sa D3 kasi magre-reverse na yung D3, but instead it will now go to D4, then it will go to your RL, then go to D2, then back to the source. So ngayon, consider na naman the direction. So if you've noticed, meron na namang output sa RL, but the current on that RL is or has the same direction with the previous current, proving that this value of current here is direct current or one flow of current lang. So the output here should be isang positive na naman. So kahit negative yung alternation ng ating supply, but because nakita natin dito, they move in the same direction with this red current, then ibig sabihin positive pa rin yung polarity ng ating output voltage. So if this becomes positive and this becomes negative, still it will continue to create an output like that. So dyan pa lang, kitang-kita natin yung pinaka-obvious na frequency ng signal and frequency ng waveform. No? So makikita mo, isa lang dito per 2 pi, but dito dalawa na per 2 pi. So in short, if this is 60 Hz na signal, then this ripple mo sa output would be 120 Hz na. So that is napaka-importante na makita natin, no? That the ripple frequency of a full wave is twice na sa signal frequency natin. And if we will get or want to get the V out, I don't want you to memorize the formula na naman. Mas better maintindihan natin kung paano nakuha yon, so that if we have a circuit, then we can definitely solve for it. So to solve for the V out, we'll trace it here. Ayan. And let's just use KVL. So using KVL, that would be VP minus the drop of D2, which is 0.7, minus the V out, tapos minus the drop of D3 is equal to 0. So with that equation, if you will try to solve for the V out, D3 is 0.7 din, so we'll replace this with 0.7. So if we will remove the V out to the other side, then that leaves us with VP minus 0.7 minus 0.7 or VP minus 1.4. So ayan, na-recover natin yan, so no need to memorize, just look. Now to solve for the V average, kung makikita natin, hindi na siya 0.318, it's 0.636 na. So to get the average of 2 pi, So sa 2 pi boundary natin, to get the average is to get this area of the two sine wave half pulses or half alternations and divide it by 2 pi. So to do that, we will get the instantaneous. Kuha lang tayo ng isang area kasi identical naman yan, multiply lang natin ng 2. Saka natin i-divide sa 2 pi. So getting one area will give me Vp sine of x dx integral of, so that is what limit natin from 0 to pi. So from 0 to pi, tapos yun na yung area natin. So we need to divide it by 2 pi, but ilang ganito yung present. So merong isa, may dalawa. So dalawang half cycles, no? So dalawang area i-divide natin sa 2 pi. So that would now become our average value. So you can solve this in your calculator and you will get 0.636. Now to get the RMS naman na 0.707, we will still follow the same concept, no? Vp sine of x dx, provided that our individual samples would be squared. Then one area is 0 to pi, but how many area in 2 pi? 2 over 2 pi. So last process ng RMS is to get the square root. So this would be your RMS value, 0.707. Now if you want to get the PIV, again we'll choose to reverse bias a diode, and in this example we'll reverse bias this D4. So reverse biasing the D4, we'll open the D4. Pagkatapos yan, we'll plot the voltage, or we'll get the voltage across this one, and that would be our PIV na. No? So to loop it, let's loop, no? So that would be Vp minus D2, that is 0.7, no? So we'll just put 0.7 here. So Vp minus the drop of D2, which is 0.7. Next is ito na, papunta dito, minus 0. So PIV na, no? Itong voltage na to hanggang dito is actually the same voltage as across the diode. So that would be minus PIV is equal to 0. So we know now that PIV is equal to Vp minus 0.7. So kaya approximately Vp lang siya. So 0.7 volt is negligible when your Vp is at 100, 200, 300 volts. So kaya nga kitang-kita natin it's approximately. But if you want the accurate one, then you can always use this Vp minus 0.7. So that would be the behavior of our full wave. Okay, let's move on to the center tap full wave. Now for the full wave center tap, we are now using 2 instead of 4 diodes. But first thing first, we need to plot. Now the voltage from this point to this point will be the secondary voltage, and the voltage from here to the center tap is the center tap voltage. So we'll be using the Vp as the center tap voltage, not the full secondary voltage. In short, the Vp is secondary over 2. Okay? So by using the Vp, at the positive alternation, this will become positive, negative. So this is positive, negative. So looking at these polarities, it's wrong. So positive, partner, negative, positive, partner, negative. So that should be it. Okay, looking at the polarities of our supply, we know that this diode here above will forward bias and the diode below will reverse bias. So reverse bias, forward yung isa, so may kuryente dito. May kuryente sa RL, so in short, merong V out. Ganyan. So when the negative alternation comes in, magbabaliktad yung ating polarity. So this will now become positive and this becomes negative. So magbabaliktad din yan dito, positive and negative. So with that, this diode above will reverse bias and si diode below na naman yung forward bias. And if you've noticed, the current is still the same. No? Yung kuryente kanina papunta doon, kuryente ngayon papunta doon. So that gives us an idea na hindi nag-reverse yung current kay RL. So it means DC yung output kay RL. So when it goes to positive, yung above diode naman yung magkakandak. Pag negative, lower diode naman yung magkakandak. So if you have noticed, the same lang talaga yung kanyang output ripple kumpara sa input frequency. That is why it still follows ripple output frequency is equal to 2 times the signal frequency. So parameters ni bridge pareho lang sa parameter ni center tap because silang dalawa pareho lang din naman full wave. But magbabago yung yung output voltage mo dito because if you will try to loop the output voltage to get this value here. So anyway, let's begin with plus minus, and we'll loop this one. No? The other diode below will be reverse bias, so this will be forward bias. Ganyan. So looping it would be Vp minus 0.7 minus V out is equal to 0. So V out now is equal to Vp minus 0.7. So yun na yung formula natin. So our loop here is Vp minus 0.7 minus V out equal to 0. So yan na, Vp minus 0.7 minus V out. So that would be our equation. So to get the V out, that would be Vp minus 0.7. Now for the average, tingnan ulit natin yung waveform. And if you have noticed, pareho lang naman talaga. No? Get this area times 2 divided by 2 pi. So that will be the average. So average in the center top will still be the same. So average value is equal to Vp sine of x dx. Tapos integrate natin from 0 to pi. That's one area. Pero how many areas na ganyan? Identically, dalawa. Divide sa 2 pi. So that would be the average. 0.636 pa rin. So to get the RMS, ganun pa rin. Integrate pa rin natin. No? Vp sine of x dx. But huwag kalimutan, square natin to. Then integrate natin yung area 0 to pi. Then pagkatapos niya, dalawang area sa haba ng 2 pi square root. Then that would be our RMS. So ganun pa rin, no? So it still is 0.77, but let's look at the PIV. So the PIV equation. So if you look at the PIV here, let's assume that this diode above will open and this diode below will be will short. Diode above will short and this diode below will open. So yan. So because this is the reverse bias diode na kinonsider natin, whatever is the voltage across here should be referred as the PIV. And if you have noticed, this PIV, when this is conducting, this is when the diode above is conducting, this plus minus, is plus minus, plus minus. So the voltage from here to here is the same voltage from here to here. In short, voltage from here to here is the PIV. And if you have noticed sa PIV natin, is actually the sum of the drop ng V out or the drop of this RL and this another center top voltage here. So kumbaga si PIV para siyang ganito, no? So this is your RL and this is your VP, in which yung drop ni RL is known to be V out plus minus plus minus. So the voltage from here to here is my PIV. So to solve that voltage, I will just simply add the V out and the VP. So VP plus the V out. And alam ko naman yung V out, no? V out is VP minus 0.7. So giving me the PIV equal to 2VP minus 0.7. That would be my PIV. And this 0.7 is negligible sa 2VP mo. So kaya nga, nakita mo dito, yung PIV mo is twice the VP. So that's the difference between the parameters of the half wave, the full wave, and the bridge and the center top. And kung makikita mo, it's only the full wave center top yung mayroong PIV na 2 times the VP. So si half wave is equal to VP, si full wave bridge is approximately equal to VP pa rin. So kaya nga kita mo dito na nag-iisa sa center top na may PIV minimum na 2 times VP. Okay, so now let's continue with maximum efficiency of the rectifiers. Now maximum efficiency, as we know, efficiency will never change. No? It's output power over input power. Ganun naman talaga parati pag efficiency. No? So kaya nga dito is the ratio of the available DC, kasi nga output ng power supply is DC, tapos input mo is AC. No? So i-ratio lang natin yung output saka input, yun, maximum power na yun. Now for half wave and full wave rectifiers, these values are constants actually, no? So for half wave it is 40.6 and for full wave it is 81.2. But instead of memorizing this, why not use the principle of efficiency na power out, which is DC, over power in, which is AC. And we know that power DC is average and AC is RMS. So pwede kong sabihin na efficiency is power DC over power AC, and my power DC is V squared over R over V squared over R. Cancel yung same R nila, but my V here is magkaiba because that is DC, that is AC. And I know that the VDC is equal to V average squared over V RMS squared. And I know that the V average is for half wave is 0.318 of V peak squared over 0.5 of V peak squared. Cancel si V peak. So whatever, when you solve this, let's look at the actual output. 0.318 squared divided by 0.5 squared. So it gives me 40.44. So that is close enough. Percent times 100%, no? Close enough to 40.66. So we should not memorize this, but we can really solve it. So same goes with the full wave. So efficiency now is equal to voltage at diretso, no? Cancel naman natin, nakita naman natin yung process. So this would be V average squared over V RMS squared, which is sa full wave, yung average mo is 0.636 squared over 0.707 squared. So sa full wave, that would be 0.636 squared divided by 0.707 squared. So it should give you 80.9. So that would be close enough na naman, 80.92%. So for me, I will not memorize this 40.6 or 81.2. So I will just simply solve it. Malapit naman yung magiging sagot. So that is for the maximum efficiency for your half wave and full wave. Now let's move on to the peak and form factor also of the half wave and full wave. Now we have discussed this already sa ating AC topic, and we know that the peak factor is the ratio of the peak value over the RMS value. So instead na i-memorize natin yung standard na to, might as well just remember the formula for the peak factor, which is V peak over the VRMS ratio. So if I will solve this, the peak factor is equal to the V peak over the VRMS ng half wave. So we know that the V peak of half wave is 100% or 1 times VP. But the RMS value is 0.5 of VP. Cancel yan. So that basically becomes 1 over 0.5 or 2. So no need to memorize. So even in the full wave, kaya nating makuha yung peak factor. So peak factor is equal to V peak over VRMS. So V peak is 100%, 1 VP. And VRMS is 0.707 of VP. So cancel natin yan. 1 over 0.707 is 1.414. So no need to memorize again. So for the form factor naman, that is the RMS over the average. Average over the RMS over the average, baliktad sa efficiency kanina. So to get this value, standard ulit ito sa half wave 1.57 and standard din siya sa full wave 1.11. But we don't need to worry about that because we can solve it. No? So form factor is equal to RMS. Now we know that RMS is 0.5 of V peak, whereas the average is 0.318 of V peak. So cancel yung dalawa. So 0.5 over 0.318. So that should give you 1.5723. No? So tama, 1.57. So sa full wave, kayang-kaya pa rin natin i-solve yan. No? So form factor is equal to RMS of full wave is 0.707. Tapos yung average niya is 0.636. V peak, cancel. So that should give you 1.11. 0.77 over 0.636. That's 1.11163522. So tama yung sagot natin. So whether efficiency maximum, peak factor, form factor, half wave, full wave, no need to worry about that sa board exam. Kayang-kaya nating ma-determine lahat yung mga values na yun. Okay? So now let's move on to filters.